Greetings, traders. Welcome to Trading on the Block. This is your host. He's the F Baby, aka Who's, aka Huz, aka Zafa, aka whatever you want to call me that suits you. Now, big BTC crash. Wow, wow, wow. Like, holy. I'm happy something's happening in the market. I'm happy about that. Like, if anything, these red marks you see here, start thinking of them as sometimes like blessings, like blessing here, blessing here, blessing here. Everything that happens in the market, just think of it as a blessing. You know why? Because when stuff goes up, you could sell it and make a profit. And when then stuff goes down, you can buy it so that you can sell it later to make a profit later. It's DCA in, guys. Just if you miss a move, wait, and there will be another one. Okay, it always happens, and it's not just Bitcoin; it's everything. Okay, Ethereum has gone down, but what is happening? Okay, look, there's there are news events, there are things that are happening that are influencing market direction and influencing investor behavior. And what's happening right now is, I would say, main event is probably this one right here. All right. What's going on? It is the Russian ban on it is so Russia is the third largest Bitcoin miner in the world after the US and Kazakhstan. However, it looks like the country has no interest in being a mining haven. So they're basically, they're saying it's wasteful, mining is wasteful, and there's about $5 billion is traded with cryptos and the banking system. But everybody's saying, like Russia has been trying to ban cryptos for over like 12 years or something like that. In the last 5 years, sorry, 12 times in 5 years. Um, so it's one of those typical news stories that occur that crashes markets that in hindsight will become a reason for you to look back and say, I should have bought. But no, I'm not saying buy right now. And that's not what I mean. What I mean is wait till you get a good buying opportunity. If anything, people bought all of this. And I did too. I bought here too. And you saw my tweets telling you where exactly where I bought. And I do it in CAD, and I don't remember the Canadian price because I had did the calculation then. And anyways, it was around this region right here. I had bought some because I knew that if this is going to come down here in this region and wicks down here and then comes down here, I knew that this is likely going to go down because it feels like there is a range here that it has to hit. Sorry, Bitcoin, or it looks exactly the same here. There was a range here, so I have another buy order here. So this is where I ended up buying more, and then ended up buying more here when it gets here. So there's a buy order. And I'm trying to figure out how do I get more cash in this so I can take advantage of this. Like, look at these measured moves. Boom, 51%. Now, if you look at it, you can't look at any ABC, none of that pattern, no Elliott wave, none of that. You can't look at anything right now. All right. There's a lot of fundamentals going around right now that is influencing the market. The only reason why technicals is going to matter right now is where there are going to be key areas where the price is going to move. But you're not going to be able to tell where it's moving. Like right now, I can't tell you that this thing is going to go up here, retest here, and going to fall down. I can't because this is very sporadic. So I'm going to wait it out. Like short-term traders, what they do is they wait for these support lines and resistance lines, and as soon as it gets there and touches that, like one of their conditions of buying or selling is as soon as it touches that, they put a short sell right here, and they wait for this thing to move even like 4 or 5 points, and then they profit out, and boom, they're out. Because these are strong support lines here. See how this bounce happened? This bounce happened. They would, if anything, if they bought it at 1493, they're putting a lot of money down on one contract and waiting for this thing to retrace 10 points till right here. This is their profit target, and boom, they're out of the trade. They just made like $10,000. Their stops comfortably right here. They're just it's called high frequency trading, HFT. So don't worry. I wouldn't do anything. I would just wait on my hands. Don't do anything. Just wait for a good buying opportunity. If a good buying opportunity to me looks like this, let's just assume this is the area where this thing is going to stop going down. All right, for now. So it's going to start ranging a little bit. Okay, it's probably going to go here and then here and then here, here, and then it's going to probably wick up here. okay, and then come down, and it's going to test this bottom. It's going to do all of this stuff. All of this stuff is going to happen before this thing starts going back up here, then boom, 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 boom. All of that. See this market structure? Look at this in hindsight. Okay, if this is the market structure that happens, when this occurs, it's going to look something like this, assuming it does. Okay, you're going to look back and be like, oh my God, that's so obvious. Yeah, because this is time and time again, this is what happens. Now, this is assuming this is the low. What I do as a seasoned investor, as a long-term holder, is I wait for all of these big red candles to stop happening. All right, I wait for that to happen, and I start seeing, oh, there's a nice support line here that's occurring. Okay, great. Oh, okay. Now the range just hit. Okay. All right. Now the support line hit again. Okay. Now I don't need to buy here, guys. When you're looking at a 50% discount on a previous all-time high. Now, believe you me, if this thing goes back up here after an extended bear market or extended range market, if it goes back up here, it's going to blow off the roof. Okay? Everybody knows that's going to happen. All right? But you don't need to buy here. Assuming this is the bottom, you've got it at a 50% discount. You don't need it at 50%, guys. Guys, come on. Come here. Look at this. If you get it, if you end up buying, let's say on a retrace of this, I'm like, you know what? You're still getting a 33% discount on the all-time high over here. Okay. Your risk profile, you should put your risk profile at about half of where you want to profit. You can even take out a profit target here. One of your profit targets should be taken out here. All right. Now, if you're investing, let's just say $5,000 right here. What I would do as an investor is I would put a stop loss. First, I would look about where I want to profit, and that's where it's going to determine my stop loss. So my first target on a $5,000, if I'm looking at a long-term trade, depending on what type of condo looking at, if I'm looking at a daily and I'm measuring my profit target on a daily, I'm putting my profit target at my initial profit target at all-time high, depending on how low it's gone. For this particular case, this has gone down 50%. I'd buy at 30%. So I'd look at a profit target of here. So a 30% profit target. All right. So $5,000 makes me $1,500. So $1,500 I'd get down right here. All right. That's I'd take out about 20% here. I would move as soon as it broke let's say about 5 to 10% above this high, I would move that stop I have here to break even. That's it. So if I make any money, it's just whatever I made up until this point. All right. But I have made money at that point. I have profited if I put my stop here, and then everything rides. All right. I've made a lot of money doing that. And looking at market structure now, these are just opportunities to do exactly that. All right. Ethereum, same thing. And I know people just don't have access to cash, but there are times, the times that we live in, we have access to cash. All right. Just don't be wasteful. Don't feel like you've earned anything yet until you actually earn it. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. All right. And if you don't, just write in the comments that you don't understand, and I'll elaborate. But there's ways that you can get cash. Like this all market structure. Look at that. These are all discounts. See, when people saw this, large investors like myself, when we saw this, a 60-70% discount, I'm buying up here already. If I'm seeing a 50% discount, I'm buying up. All right. Unless, of course, I'm looking at the fundamentals, and the fundamentals are saying, hey, this thing's going down. Or the fundamentals say, okay, there's like some crazy like war going on or whatever. I'm not buying shit. Pardon my exclusive. So, folks, everything's like this. I love Doge. So I wrote one of my tweets here that, what if it reached 8 cents, which is great because that's a support zone. And that was when I measured volume profile. It was also if I just check this again, it's a pretty large range. Okay, it was around here. It was about 6 cents. But that's a pretty large range. So let me get rid of that and put this range here. Let's see this one. It's the same, around the same range. Maybe it's actually lower than 8 cents. Yeah, there's a lot of volume in the 6 cent range. Maybe I should adjust this to 6 cents. But anyways, let me think about that one. Everything's like that, right? Like Solana's so new. It's had so much success that there's really no telling where it's gonna go because its market structure just hasn't played itself out yet. All I can tell you is every asset, they all move in the same patterns, but they all have their own behavior. in terms of how you see certain things happening, higher high, lower lows, and what certain points are important, which Fibonacci is important. Certain markets exhibit different types of behaviors, and those are the things you got to really analyze. And these are the things I do on my pastime, and I make investment decisions doing it, but I do it on my pastime largely. So link chain link, right? So I said, will it hit $8? Like, I never thought link would go down to $8 this run. I'm not think why, because number one, it's already dropped 75%. This is the highest drop it's experienced so far in its very short history. All right, so I went back into the past and I'm like, okay, how many drops has this had? It hasn't experienced this big of a drop. So I think it would be a good time to buy. So it looks 75%. And then it came up. It came up, look at that, 176%, but then it dropped back down. How much? About 40%, 60%. Wow. So you see that, like, these are big drops that are happening now. If it dropped down here, $88, look at its high. Like, it's gonna retest this high again. So, like, I mean, to me, to an investor like me, it seems like an obvious thing. Like, it is risky. It 100 million% it is risky. And as an investor, you have some sort of risk profile. And my profile is I tend to be a little more risky on the riskier side. So looking at this $8, it could be a good place to buy. I have no plans to buy Link, but looking at this, like, when I'm these are why I put this is why I put these zones in here to establish in my mind, like, these are potential areas that I might go back and look at to see if I will put some money down and invest in it. And in another show, in another episode, I guess, I'll take you through some of my cryptos, what I hold and stuff. Right now, I don't want to look at my portfolio, just like every investor out there right now. I just don't want to look at it. So, and it is for an emotional reason. I am not an emotional trader, but that's because I don't look at my account all the time. The only time I look at my accounts is to usually buy, and I seldom sell unless I'm selling into from one project into another project. Then I do that. Otherwise, I don't. I don't really sell. So guys, like, Bitcoin is going down. I have a lot of faith in this. I don't think this. I think this is going to go down a little more and maybe hit a key zone here. So let's just redraw this kind of, and let's see what this could potentially look like before we sign off here. Um, oh man, sorry, I just burped. So excuse me if you heard that. So I think it'll hit this key zone right here. Okay. And once that happens, I think with the market structure, if I were to put anything out into the universe, what it's gonna look like, it's gonna establish this here before moving on up here to establish the high. I think that's what's gonna happen. But I think there's gonna be a period right here where it's gonna be, it's gonna look like this. It's gonna range down here. It's gonna look like that. We're looking at December. No, that's a little too long, but it's gonna look like something like that. And then I should have zoomed out, but it's gonna go like that kind of thing. Yeah, something like that. That's what I kind of envision here. You look at it historically, right? And what is the EMA gonna do? I should probably draw out the EMA real quick, to show you what that would do, right? So EMA is sitting right here. So I think maybe it'll come down like that, right? So maybe something like that. One fake out right there kind of thing. And then just boom, like that, right? Yeah, something like that. This is the daily. So this looks like into like 2023, but maybe, maybe earlier than that, maybe around here, this might occur, right? Other ways to look at how this market might react is just go back into the past, right? Like, okay, so if I go into if I go into index BTC, and guys, while I look at this, if you guys hit the like button, obviously I'm doing these videos because I just love doing videos. I do analysis and I love analysis. And I know a lot of people out there love and share this hobby with me. So if you guys could help me and growing my YouTube channel, I my goal is to get 1 million subscribers this year. I know it's kind of crazy, but I would really love it if you played a small little part in my journey there, because to me, it's the biggest thing in the world. So I really would appreciate that. So if you could do that, that'd be great. Please hit the right like button. So, anyways, so what I have here is the BTC USD. Now this is like a really historical chart. Goes back into, like, as you can see, I've been analyzing this thing day by day, like seeing. I was doing some analysis. I deleted most of the drawings, but what type of increases occurred at what times and what periods and what occurred, and I had a very detailed chart drawn out here. So, for example, I looked at this price movement up. What this shows you is the behavior of the market again, right? So this shows a big green and then a red, meaning a big upward cycle. How long did that take from February to June? So I had a timeline here, date range to show. Okay, this was from here to here. That was the increase, and then from here to here was the retrace. Okay, so then what happened? Okay, so this retrace was a lot, and then I measured what was the how far did it retrace down. So I would take the price range and I would measure this to here, and I saw, okay, so it was a 93% move downwards after a, what was the move upwards? Upwards was approximated the place where it moved up 3,320%. Now, okay, so how much did this move up? So I did that for pretty much since Bitcoin's inception, and I had a separate chart for 4 hourly. So that's how interested and passionate I am about market structure and how these work. Now I know about all these tools and indicators. I've played these for years, and I use them from occasion. I will continue using them in my analysis, but overall, I look at things based on market structure. Has always been really where the brunt of opportunities have come to me, like support and resistance, market volume, fixed profile volume, have been a key in determining where you can entry and exit. And real volume profile, I actually learned very recently. So, this line here has always been a very good entry and exit point for traders. And when I look back in the past, I've attributed these as very strong support and resistance. So see, this is an extended move down here on December 7th, 2013 that lasted, and the low hit, you know, 2 years after that high. 2 years, right? It was a 90% move downwards, followed by what was the move upwards from this all-time high? Let's measure it before it started doing a lower high. How long and how far away was that? And I implore you guys, do this. Do this to your charts too. Go back into history. This will help you in your trading. Um, Let me just go back here. All right. So how far was this move up? Look at that, 1,529%, right? In 1470, that was a big move up actually. But then that was from the last high. All right, that could be attributed to how many years? All right, so how many years? That's about um 4 years, about 3.5 years or so, and then followed by another dip. So how long was that dip? Went from here, swing high to swing low. That dip was 90, another 84% move. That was 84%. This is 84%, and then that's 368 bars. Dude, that was about a year downwards, and then it made another high here, and that is from here to here. Now, there's other ways to measure that too. You can measure that from the last time it made that low to here. You can measure it that way too. But what we measured, not we, I measure it different ways. And that was a 211% move, and that was over the course of about the same time, 3 years. I mean, now we're living in that high here. So here, in order for it to get into that down range, how did we determine it was in this formation? When we were here, we didn't know all the stuff that's going on, right? How was it an easy way to determine that we're in this formation? Number one is the lower high. Okay, when you get a lower high, okay, that's first evidence. You got the first lower high here, but when this happened, that's confirmed pretty much. That's another lower high, and then a breakout of that higher low. Okay. When it breaks out like that, that's indication that, okay, we could be entering into something that could look like a bear structure. So that's what we're in right now. And what happened? It kept on going, kept on going, kept on going. And then how do you determine it's going to come back up? Usually it's evidence when this starts breaking out. It broke out here once, but you wouldn't buy. A smart investor wouldn't buy there, by the way. What a smart investor does is first it waits for it to establish a range at the bottom. The range is established right here. In my opinion, it's right here. That's more comfortable area for me to see a retrace off of, and I'll show you what I mean. When it goes up, okay, I don't know what's going on right now, but okay, so it goes up, and boom, this is where you buy it, okay? And then you have your stop down here. You're a long-term investor. Remember, if you're a long-term investor, this is what you would do. You'd wait for this range that's established itself. Obviously, when this happened, this dip down here and it broke that range, this range nullified. So then in range, you have to recalculate your range. So that's not the range anymore. Range becomes more, okay, this is the first indication because it bounced up here, then on here, and now this is the range right here, this line. So when it broke up here, okay, that's the first indication. Second indication is this right here. So when it breaks up from here, okay, there's another indication. And now it's breaking up slowly, but now the old areas where it was breaking down from are becoming new supports. Oh, wow. So it broke up. Okay, this range is broken. Now when it retraces back down into this region is a potential good area to buy. Boom. You're buying it off right here. And then off to races. Okay, but you're in a choppy period right here, obviously. Look, these things take time. June 2019 to March 2020. And then boom. This is going to be an extended period, guys. Sit on your hands. If you have a lot of money invested in there and you need the money, take it out. If you need it, take it out. You'll have buying and selling opportunities. This thing is not do or die. This is market structure. You're going to have opportunities in the future. So anyways, if I tell you anything, it should be that, guys, just chill out. Just chill out and hit the like button. Thank you very much. Anyways, I'm going to sign out now. My throat is actually getting a little scratchy. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I appreciate you as always. Good night.